As Israel faces ongoing threats from nearly every border, the IDF is hard at work dismantling terror infrastructure and foiling attempted attacks in Gaza, the West Bank, Syria, and Lebanon. Here to discuss Israel's strategy in confronting these threats is Brigadier General Yossi Kuperwasser. General Kuperwasser, thank you for joining us today. Always a pleasure to have you on. I'd like to start just by asking you your take on Netanyahu's statements about the North. It's been 10 months. Only now he's visiting, claiming he'll restore a sense of security. The big question, of course, is how?
Well, first of all, good afternoon. Secondly, I don't think it's his first visit in the North. He's been to the North several times. But what he means by the fact that this is not the end of the story is that, of course, we have to finish the job in the North as well. We'll have to create a new situation along the northern border that will guarantee the security of the people that are living along the border and will enable them to come back safely to their communities. The timetable is unclear.
What does that involve? What does that look like, securing that border? Pushing Hezbollah back past the Litani River? Is it something alternative? What does it actually look like, practically restoring that security? Or could it look like?
Looks like we're pushing Hezbollah north of the Litani River and establishing some sort of system that would enable us to make sure that they don't cross down to the south and deploy along the border again. We might need the Israeli presence along the border on the Lebanese side for making sure that this is the case. But anyhow, I think it will require first finishing the job in Gaza and coming to the north based on decisive victory in Gaza and defeating Hamas. And that's the order that Netanyahu is putting forward. He wants first to finish in Gaza and then move to the north. Otherwise, the chances of reaching an agreement with Hezbollah at the end of the day are very slim.
Now, we do know there are many Islamic Republic-backed terror groups in Syria. We've now heard there's an influx of terror operatives from Iran, even in the West Bank. Does Israel have an overall strategy for dealing with these simultaneous proxy attacks at the same time? Or is it focused primarily, as you mentioned, defeating Hamas first and then taking the necessary steps on the other fronts?
The strategy of Israel is to focus on defeating Hamas first, but at the same time, it doesn't mean that we don't fight in the other fronts and sometimes even take offensive measures, like we do now in the areas controlled by the Palestinian Authority in Judea and Samaria, especially in Samaria. And same with Hezbollah. We have already killed many more than 400 Hezbollah operatives during this operation, caused a lot of damage to Hezbollah, and we don't sit idle on our hands. We're fighting, but we are not moving yet to a ground operation, and we are still hoping that this would be possible to reach the goals that we have in the north without ground operation. But we also understand that the chances that this is going to be the case are very low, and that's why we prepare ourselves to a ground operation as well, following the defeat of Hamas in Gaza.
Now, changing gears as we wrap up, we have seen ongoing hostage negotiations that continue, unfortunately, to fail, both sides blaming each other. Today, we saw the families of hostages literally running towards Gaza in desperation. My question for you, from the security perspective, can a deal be made? And if so, why hasn't one been made already?
Can be made, but in order to make it, we need more pressure on Hamas. We need to make Hamas realize that they are going to lose the control of Gaza and will be removed from power there. I think the move that we have just taken in appointing a high-ranking officer to run the humanitarian aid in Gaza is, on the one hand, necessary in order to convince the Americans that we are making our utmost in order to deliver the humanitarian aid, but at the same time is necessary in order to deliver the message to Hamas that we are determined to move forward and assuming the responsibility for the humanitarian aid distribution, so that we should be able to deprive them for the responsibility for that, because as long as they are responsible for the humanitarian aid distribution, they take much of it for their own sake and cause much damage to the population with difficulties in getting what they need.
Absolutely. Well, we are out of time, but I want to thank you, Brigadier General Yossi Kuperwasser, for your analysis.